Questions and comments? Question commentaire, the Honourable Member for Sandwich Gulf Islands.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thanks to my friend from South Surrey, White Rock. I'm curious to know how I'm going to vote on the Opposition Day motion today, which we're talking about at least peripherally. The discussion around carbon taxes always brings to mind, because it is a complex problem, the H.L. Mencken comment that for every complex problem, there is an answer which is clear, simple, and wrong. I could add as an update, and it very rarely rhymes. What I would love to see is a discussion which is fact-based, listening to the experts like the 200 economists who say carbon pricing works, or to sit down with the premiers and listen to the science. I recently in this place spoke of the record of the Right Honourable, the late Brian Mulroney, who definitely worked with provinces, who definitely imposed additional costs to stop pollution, and who made actions count. We don't have a carbon tax crisis. We have a climate crisis, and I would welcome an opportunity to listen to the scientific experts, the economic experts, and bring everyone together. Will the members of the official opposition confirm whether this meeting with premiers, should it take place, could listen to the top experts on climate science and the threat to our economy posed by wildfires, heat domes, floods, and storms of all kinds that are driven by the climate crisis?
The Honourable Whip for the official opposition.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I always welcome questions from a fellow British Columbian Member of Parliament. It is hard to speculate on what a dialogue will look like if we have a Prime Minister who says, well, I met with them in 2016. He hasn't even opened the door yet to such a conference. Certainly, details can be arranged after that, but there has to be a willingness by this government to sit down, show courage where there is a national crisis, and actually put bones onto solutions by talking to the first ministers in this country. This is a big country, but this confederation was built on dialogue. If there's no dialogue, there's no solutions. Talking to each other is always the way forward. Thank you.
Question et commentaire, l'honorable député de...
The Honourable Member for Rivière-du-Nord. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we know that GHG emissions cause climate change. We know that GHG emissions have caused a significant increase in the price of vegetables, fruits, and grain over the past few years. The carbon tax aims to decrease GHG emissions. That's what we have on the one hand. On the other hand, in Quebec, we are part of the Western Climate Initiative. That initiative is an initiative with California and British Columbia, and it aims to ensure that we are not unduly affected by the carbon tax. Wouldn't our Conservative colleagues agree that we should reduce GHG emissions, and that we will do so by joining the carbon market with Quebec and with British Columbia? That would bring down emissions. That would bring down inflation as well. Meanwhile, we wouldn't have to debate the carbon tax every single day. The carbon tax, which is so incredibly useful in decreasing GHG emissions. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Surrey White Rock to respond.
I'll be quick, Mr. Speaker. I would just say this. Cooperation, dialogue is what we're aiming for in this motion. We want to include the premiers of the provinces, all provinces, including Quebec. So let's just get to the table, have the discussion, show leadership at both the provincial and national level, and show how this confederation can actually work at a time of crisis for Canadians right across the country. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.